Hello there guys and welcome, it is Niran here, and today it's time for me to welcome you to the second episode of Season 3 of our Leicester career mode. But overall, in terms of the entire series, this is actually a very important episode. This is episode number 50. This is the furthest I've ever got into a series before, and obviously it's number 50, so it's quite a big milestone. And yeah, it's something that I'm very happy with, so I would just want to thank you guys again so much for giving this series the support that has allowed it to get to its 50th episode. Well, that is pretty damn mad. In episode 49, we talked about strikers. So to start off episode number 50, we're going to talk about strikers. But today, we're not just doing transfer activity, though there will be some big transfer activity today in replacing Wissam Ben Yedder, as you saw from the intro. But we've also got the Community Shield against Arsenal and the first Barclays Premier League game of the season against Newcastle. In the background, though, I'm making bids for Angel Correa and Nabil Fekir, including Shinji Okazaki in the deal, because we're looking to sell Shinji Okazaki. He's been fantastic for us so far, but we don't want him to go to a Premier League rival, and none of the players that we're going to bid for are from the Premier League, so we might as well include him in the deal. We're going to bid for Angel Correa of Atletico Madrid, Nabil Fekir of Lyon, Kevin Volland of Wolfsburg, and Paulo Dybala of Juventus, because I feel as if those were the ones that were commented the most in the comment section. 30 mil plus Okazaki for Dybala. As you can see, though, Wolfsburg rejected our offer for Kevin Volland, and so did Lyon, and Atletico Madrid also did as well, because they weren't interested in the player involved, aka they didn't want to sign Shinji Okazaki in return. However, Juventus were happy enough to accept that bid straight off the bat, so £30 million plus Shinji Okazaki for Paulo Dybala, the Argentinian striker, was accepted straight off the bat. So the £18 million plus Okazaki bid, though, for Kevin Volland was rejected, so he bumped up the transfer sum to £24 million. For Nabil Fekir, we're going to take Okazaki off the deal, and we're going to bump the money up to £17.5 million for the 24-year-old from Lyon. And for Angel Correa, I think we're going to do a similar thing. I think the amount of money will be exactly the same, £17.5 million, and no Okazaki after they indicated they wanted £21.5 million. We've got that money to spend after all, so we might as well go ahead and do it in trying to replace Wissam Ben Yedder. Nevertheless, though, we're getting into the first game of today's episode, and yet again, we are facing off against Arsenal at Wembley. We haven't had too much luck against them at Wembley in recent times, losing to them in the Capital One Cup final and then the FA Cup semi-final after we beat them in the Capital One Cup final of Season 1. Today we're fighting over the Community Shield, so a third trophy that we're competing against Arsenal at Wembley. Nevertheless, you can see a squad in the background. It's actually a competitive debut for Antonio Rudiger starting alongside Nkulu at the back, Perez and Masuaku as full-backs, Kante and Arnold as defensive mid, Sisto actually replacing Herman for this one, and then Embolo and Vardy up front. But after 12 minutes, the ball's being swung into the box. It's headed off the line by Kante from Oxlade-Chamberlain's header. It's going to fall there for Bruno Perez. The power bar is full, and I just give up. I just actually give up. After 12 minutes, Bruno Perez has served the ball on a plate to Danny Welbeck. Feel free to go back and re-watch this, because I'm fairly sure I put the power bar to full. Yet instead, Perez has literally, I cannot even describe to you, he's literally dinked the ball onto the head of Danny Welbeck. The power bar was completely full. How in God's name? Arsenal are going forward again. Debuchy is somehow out-strengthening Nicholas Nkulu. And it's 2-0 and Welbeck scored again. I don't know what to think about this, to be honest. We appear to be getting absolutely shafted by the game currently. We're 2-0 down to Arsenal after 35 minutes, and I just had to pause and actually look at what Nicholas Nkulu's strength was. It's 82. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly sure Mathieu Debuchy, Arsenal's right back, does not have more than 82 strength. So how in God's name was Nicholas Nkulu not I don't know, but Embolo, oh my God, Embolo is at the crossbar. It's just not my day. At this point, I think it's fair, you might as well just give up, unfortunately. Walcott's put the ball in the box for Alexis Sanchez, and he's been taken down by Bruno Perez, and it is a penalty. Embolo, I was trying to tackle with Embolo, and it ended up being a shot. It's hit the crossbar. That's when you know your day's going down the pan. Bruno Perez, though, has been sent off, quite rightly, in all honesty. I was extremely frustrated at this point. I made a substitution, actually, to change the formation. It's changed the camera angle, and I don't know if that's affected Alexis Sanchez, because actually, he's given us somewhat of a reprieve by hitting the post from the free kick. Into the box, though, it is swung. We've not won this game. We've not won this game at all. Schmeichel has been fouled in trying to throw the ball out. The referee's given an advantage that's lasted less than half a second, and despite us losing the ball, Aaron Ramsey's been allowed to chip the ball over the head of Kasper Schmeichel, and I think, you know what, it's just one of those days. You know, it is just one of those days when you press the power bar to full capacity and it just chips it to an Arsenal player and it goes in. I might as well have just given up. And this was something that was a feature of the entire game. All of my players, it felt like none of my players had literally more than 50 strength. I don't know whether there's been some sort of patch on this game. You can tell that I'm still annoyed right now, but I don't know if there's been some sort of patch on this game, because Jack Wilshere was just literally picking N'Golo Kante up off the ball and just placing him elsewhere. It was like he wasn't there, and I know Mahrez isn't the strongest, but N'Golo Kante is a very strong player. Nicolas Nkulu could not outstrength Matteo Debuchy across about a 40-yard run. I honestly don't know what went on with that game, but I wish I hadn't played it because it just made me so annoyed. It just felt as if the game wanted Arsenal to win. I know that's a stupid thing to say, it's because it's not the case, but it just felt as if I was never ever even slightly going to have a chance of winning that game. And we lost 3-0 because Arsenal played better, but it just felt as if there was some sort of force from above making them better than anything I've ever witnessed before. Nevertheless, we've lost the Community Shield final at Wembley. Quite rightly, we also played badly. Let's not gloss over that fact. We played badly, but I felt as if some omens were against me in that one. Nevertheless, we're going to swiftly move on to transfer activity and forget that game ever happened whatsoever. We've loaned out 2 youngsters, Lassevegan, Sloth and Ravel Story, and we're now making contract offers for all 4 of the strikers that we've made bids for because their teams have accepted their respective offers. So Paulo Dybala looking at 100k, and all the other players I think were 80k. We've gone for a club role of important first-team player for all of them. As you can see, Nabil Fekir accepted that contract offer straight off the bat, so that's nice of him. And Angel Correa the same, 80k a week, 4-year contracts for both, I do believe, in important first-team players in terms of role in the club. But both Paulo Dybala and Kevin Volland said that they wanted higher squad roles. Not more money, but higher squad roles. So crucial first-team player for Dybala and 90k a week. And then Kevin Volland, we're going to offer, I think, 70k a week in the end, but I think that has to rise to 80k in the end because he declines again. But crucial first-team player again for him in terms of squad role. So hopefully, the disgracefulness of that first game will be put to bed by signing a very good striker. Nevertheless, it is now time to get into the second game of today's episode. Let's hope it's slightly more easy than the first game. Let's just hope we have some at least foothold in this one and that it's slightly entertaining. Daniel Amati and Danny Drinkwater into the side. Liam Moore is in as well to replace the suspended Bruno Perez. Kante was also for some reason suspended for this one, and Max Yarnold was very poor against Arsenal, so he's replaced. Yet again though, I don't know if you saw that, Daniel Amati just getting literally buffeted off the ball by Moussa Sissoko. Daniel Amati has about 90 strength, and it was like he wasn't there. But Jorginho Wijnaldum actually hitting the post, or Widge Wedge as I like to call him, back in West Ham career in FIFA 15. Widge Wedge hitting the post after just 2 minutes. We got a chance with Daniel Amati at towards the end of the first half. Now into the second half, Jamie Vardy's found Daniel Amati again and forces a good save out of Rob Elliott, but it's still 0-0. In this game, and worryingly so. Into the 80th minute, Riyad Mahrez weaving his way into the box. He finds Jamie Vardy, who then passes it back to Max Yarnold, who hits the crossbar. And is it just going to be one of them days? It is going to be one of them days, is the answer to that. And in one of the most boring games in all history, one that I hope will never be repeated ever on the internet whatsoever. We draw the game 0-0. First game of the season. It's not a bad point. We lost away from home against St James's Park last time against Newcastle last season, so a point is an improvement. But yet again, this thing with strength for the CPU just Rolando Aaron's just bouncing Patrick Herman off the ball, Jack Colback WWE wrestling Danny Drinkwater onto the floor. It just felt really odd when I was getting this gameplay. I don't know what it was, but it just felt as if the CPU had superhuman strength in both of the games. Thankfully, we managed to wrestle, and hold on to a point in that game, but we got absolutely butchered against Arsenal because of it. Nevertheless, in training in the background, no real growth at all, although Embolo is really close to going up to another overall. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's 83 that he's close to going up to, maybe 82, one of the two. And nevertheless, though, talking of Embolo as a striker, we're now basically about to complete a deal for a striker. You can see Angel Correa there, £17.5 million from Atletico Madrid, 80k a week. Nabil Fekir, the exact same deal for him, 24-year-old striker from Olympique Lyonnais. We've also got a few other players that we're looking at as well, of course, that you've seen earlier on. Kevin Volland, that we've haggled for, 24 mil, 80k a week for the 25-year-old right midfielder, though he can play as a striker, obviously. And also Paulo Dybala. This is the only deal that has Shinji Okazaki involved, going in the other direction. It's £30 million plus the Japanese striker, 90k a week for the 83 overall Argentinian striker Dybala from Juventus. Now, yet again, this is a big one. I'm going to give you guys the vote as to who I should sign directly. The deals are completely done. We don't have to haggle or negotiate whatsoever. They're all on the table. All I have to do is press accept offer on whichever player you want me to sign. So yet again in the description, there will be a straw poll leading you to a vote on who to sign, or who I should sign even. Whether that be Correa from Atletico Madrid, Fekir from Lyon, Volland from Wolfsburg, or Dybala from Juventus. And you guys can have a look at maybe FIFA profiles, have a look at their price, their wage, the deal as a whole, how good they've been in your experience as well, and make your decision and vote on that straw poll in the description. I did get someone tell me to sign Andre Silva. I think he's whoever's the Portuguese young striker from Porto, but unfortunately I think he's just recently signed for a new team on my career mode, which is very frustrating because he seemed like quite a good shout from whoever mentioned that. He got quite a few thumbs up as well, but unfortunately I couldn't sign him. But yeah, so the four players you can choose from: Dybala, Volland, Correa and Fekir. That will be in the straw poll in the description. I'm sorry that the 50th episode couldn't have been better gameplay wise, but it's FIFA 16 at the end of the day. It's a pile of crap is the gameplay this year. If you're still watching, if you've watched every episode to this point, honestly, you're an absolute god, because 50 episodes of a series on FIFA 16, to plough through that, even if you're just watching this episode, even if you haven't watched every single episode, even if you're still interested at this point, I honestly applaud you, because I'm not sure I could do the same thing. So thank you guys so much for the support on this series as a whole so far. Here's to 50 episodes more, which is quite unlikely before the next FIFA comes out, but you never know. It might, a miracle might happen over the summer. Nevertheless, it's been a pleasure though ranting at you guys today. Feel free to hit the likes button, if you did enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're new around here as well, and comment about enjoying the video if you enjoyed it that much, and don't forget to vote on the straw poll. It has been a pleasure ranting at you guys today, as I alluded to a moment ago. Have a good day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.
No, that's not me. Act like a waste man, that's